Everton nil, Arsenal won. Have you noticed recently that Arsenal has been getting away with narrow wins, controversial and dramatic situations? They have been having that to their own advantage. In this video, I will be explaining to you the secret behind Arsenal narrow controversial win. I will also give you tips on what other teams can do, to have Arsenal checked properly, counter Arsenal, and be able to stop Arsenal winning runs. Now, let's dive into this video properly. Arsenal started this game with their normal 4-3-3 formation, which gives them an advantage over others in terms of Arsenal strategy. Playing Califury, Hinkap, Saliba, and Etimba at the back line. Don't forget that Arsenal backline has been their rock and then their foundation to their success. They've been climbing on this and they've been succeeding, which is a good one for them. In the midfield, they did a rise, Zubimandi and Odegaard, also a good one for them. And the front side, they did a Trossard, Gyökeres, and Saka. Good one. Remember that in this game, Gyökeres actually gave them a win, even though he was actually subbed. For Arsenal people, they feel that Gyökeres need to actually give them the fire. But he tried yesterday to be able to give them something good, which actually gave them that opportunity to be able to win. At the moment, Arsenal is sitting at the first position with 39 good points, having played 17 games. Good one for Arsenal, followed by Man City, who is chasing them closely with 37 points, having played also 17 games. Now, this is what Arsenal is doing that no person can tell you. What Arsenal does is that Arsenal, at the start of the game, the moment they say game don't start, Arsenal will pressure you, press you, push you, secure a goal. Once they get that goal, bro, Arsenal will sit back. Arsenal will now begin to use their midfield that is very strong, and then their rock, which is their defense line, to prevent you from penetrating. They will hold on the ball, they will hold the ball, manage the ball. You can't be able to penetrate, to be able to score them back. That's what Arsenal does. That is Arsenal's strategy. Even though this strategy has a lot of flaws too, but people feel that with this, he can be grabbing wins, and then keep going. And don't also forget that lately, VAR has been favoring Arsenal. That's the truth of the matter. Because if you look at this particular game, Everton had an opportunity of 2 penalty calls. VAR denied Everton, and Arsenal climbed on that to be able to win this game. A lot of pundits, a lot of media houses have spoken so much about this on this VAR inconsistency, in addressing certain very obvious situations, and this one a very big problem. How can VAR and referee explain to every person, say that particular situation will be penalty call or no be penalty? It is not acceptable, but Arsenal had to take that to their own advantage. That's why we're saying that it was a controversial, it was a dramatic, and a narrow escape, for Arsenal to win that particular game yesterday. Now, but I will also explain to you the tips, what other opponents, what other teams can do to be able to stop Arsenal progression, to be able to stop Arsenal narrow and controversial win. But before we go to that particular one, please, let's look at the start for that game. The start for that game was actually very, very interesting. Arsenal had a total shot of 13 and only 2 on target. Out of that 2, they grabbed the goal by Gyökeres. And that was at 29th or 27 minutes. Now, Everton had total shot of only 2 and 0 shot on target. What does this tell you? It tells you that Arsenal dominated that particular game. It tells you that Arsenal were more superior in terms of their game strategy, application of their game plans and all that. How can you play a full 90 minutes without a shot on target? Everton performed very, very woefully. There's no two ways about that one. Arsenal was on top of their game yesterday, and Everton only had 2 shots that went wide. So Arsenal on this game actually dominated. Now, possession. After Arsenal had 67% possession, Everton had 33%. I've always said it, I'll keep saying it, I'm not a fan of possession. However, to have had 67% possession, it shows that Arsenal was actually everywhere. The wingers were doing well, midfield guys were doing very well, and then the attack force too also did extremely well. Saka actually did well yesterday. Trossard and Gyökeres did very well yesterday. Gyökeres got the only goal they had yesterday. But beyond this situation, what actually happened in that match yesterday? Those 2 penalty calls were very, very necessary, for Everton to have come back to that game. If Everton had had the opportunity to be able to take those penalties, they would have definitely, if possibly, won that game yesterday. Because Arsenal, for me, in the second half, didn't actually come to that game to be able to pressure and win more goals. Now, the strategy of trying to get just a goal and then sit back to defend that goal is actually very, very not sustainable. Now, this is what other teams need to do. One, other teams need to be able to outscore Arsenal. Because if you look at the trajectory, if you look at how this particular season table is going, it appears that the deciding factor will be goal difference. So what other teams can do is to outscore Arsenal with goals, score more goals. And that is what Pep is doing at the moment. Pep understands that he needs to use this strategy to be able to, counter Arsenal and then score more goals. At the end of the day, what matters? Goal difference. At the end of the day, when the tie comes up, what will Pep use to cross Arsenal? Goal difference. Because where it's going, definitely, Pep is on the neck of Arsenal. And this Arsenal team is actually trying to push further. But how far can they sustain their winning strategy? It's very difficult. Extremely difficult, because the more you keep scoring just one goal, relying on controversial situations, relying on dramatic situations to be able to have an edge, it becomes a big problem for you. So that is one strategy a lot of teams need to adopt to score more goals, pin that on winning tie situations where they will now use goal difference to win. It happened sometime, I think it was between Man City and Manchester United. It was tied, goal difference was used to actually decide the winner for that particular league period. So that's exactly what other teams need to do in EPL to be able to, score more goals, counter Arsenal. And when it comes to ties, then they can be able to have that advantage. Now, and that strategy, which is also very, very important that other teams need to do, is to climb on Arsenal defense situations. Apart from Man City, I've not seen any other club that is trying to, pressure Arsenal backline. No person. So when Arsenal is trying to attack you, attack them back, because attack is the best form of defense. Once you attack them back, put pressure on Hincapi, he's going to make a lot of mistakes because of he's youthful and he doesn't have much experience. Apart from Saliba, who is at the backside at the moment now, and if you watch those Arsenal games recently that Saliba played, Saliba has not been very, very active like himself. It could be because he's not used to playing pairing with these guys, or possibly because Gabriel is not back, who he actually pairs with and deliver properly. So you can see that at the moment, Saliba is also shaking, Hincapi is shaking, so Timber is not a full central back defender. So at the end of the day, if you put more pressure on Arsenal defense, they will make a lot of mistakes and you'll be able to win them. These are the two major strategies I think that other teams can adopt to be able to, pressure Arsenal and have a win on Arsenal. This is a very special edition of this particular season, because at the moment, what I've said earlier in our previous video that any person will try push Arsenal close at the end of this first half of the window, will be able to give us a direction. Such clubs will give us a direction, whether Arsenal is going to win this season or not. For instance, Man City at the moment now is doing what I'm currently saying. Man City is pushing Arsenal to that point where at the end of this first phase of the season, we'll be able to know whether Arsenal will win this season or not. But I can assure you that this season will be very interesting. This season will be a season to, have a lot of situations that were not actually expected. Where a team is actually progressing to win the title, and that team takes over to win that title. But don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Arsenal is also a team to beat in this particular season. To be honest with you, if Arsenal understand that this is a strategy, and then they are coming to counter a strategy, they can actually switch on that strategy. Reinforce their defense, and then be able to fight back and get the title. This season, if Arsenal don't get this cup this season, to be honest with you, very, very difficult, because all their guys are informed. Their backline foundation they've built over time is paying off. Their midfield is paying off. Zubimendi, Rice, they are doing extremely well. The only problem I know Arsenal had, which they've not actually identified as a problem, is the fact that why Arsenal they sit Merino on the bench. Merino is around set to Arsenal. Oga Arteta, they play this Merino as your 9, to be honest with you. If you assess Gyökeres' performance yesterday, that guy no dey for that game. Bring Merino as a number 9. Play him as a number 9. That guy will give you what you want. Area ball, that guy is good. And he plays everywhere. Yesterday, he saw him, to play as a midfielder. And see what he did. He's tried the much he can, And that is one thing I like this Merino guy. This guy, they fit in anywhere. If you say Merino, play midfield for me, that guy will go, he will deliver. Merino, play right wing for me. You go deliver. Merino play first night for me, you go deliver. Arteta, I beg, don't be underrating this guy. This guy is an asset to you. Yes, he bought Gyökeres with so much huge amount of money. No problem. But at the end of the day, at the moment, Gyökeres is not informed. That game where he scored yesterday, now penalty when that person win, he managed to score. On a norm, a striker should be scoring beyond penalty alone. That's how it's supposed to be. So Merino is the name for Arsenal at the moment now. That's what Arsenal can use. These are what Arsenal can do to be able to also stop opponents that are trying to bring them down, to be honest with you. However, opponents too, if they use my two strategies, these my special strategies, Arsenal will get big challenge for this season. This is an interesting one. Like I said, please keep sharing our videos and like our videos too. Thank you. See ya. Bye.